Welcome to the Onstage Podcast, where we deep dive into the power of music and entertainment. Everyone, who we have here is a band named Choshek, and they're an eclectic alternative rock band fueled by a unique blend of spacious melodies, tight rhythms, progressive undertones, and linear song arrangements. With a passion for storytelling, they have coined their music as story rock, captivating listeners with their lyrical narratives and immersive soundscapes. They hail from Greensburg, Pennsylvania. Choshek was formed in 2021 by a group of work friends who shared a common obsession for music. The band includes Jeremy Couch, Josh Koffinar, Jeremy later added drummer Josh, and then Chad Fallow. Hello, everyone.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having us.
You're very welcome. So, your music is engineered, mixed, and mastered by Shane Meyer, who's a Cerebral Audio Productions, and it's produced by you and Shane Meyer, which is good. And also comprising of Jared Porterfield.
That's this guy.
How you doing?
So, in the room, everyone, we have Jared, Jeremy, Josh, and Chad. All four of them from Choshek, from Pennsylvania. So we would like to discuss about your band's close-knit chemistry and your artistic synergy and tight-knit performances. Can you give us a little idea of what inspired you to pursue a career in music, starting with Jared, and then we'll go move clockwise.
Yeah, I grew up loving music, got into band at a young age. Just been inspired by numerous bands throughout the years. Like I said, everything from King Crimson to Led Zeppelin to the Mars Volta to Pantera and everything in between. I love music. It's an integral part of my life.
And Jeremy, what about you? Whatever got you into music?
My story's a little bit different. High school, uh, I I it's gonna sound weird. I seen this. There was a senior, and he had super long hair. And as a guy, it's kind of weird at the time. But I was like, man, I love that. And then I found out that came along with the whole music culture at the time, which was emo, was really big. Uh, and that's how I got into music, was simply by wanting long hair because I thought it looked cool. uh, but yeah, then I started working with these guys, and by happenstance, I was actually given an acoustic guitar because mine was stolen, and we've never looked back ever since we started playing together.
How about you, Chad? Tell me a little bit about yourself and why did you get into music?
Yeah, sure. Well, my friend that grew up in the same hometown as me, he uh, he was like sick of playing guitar, and I just met him, and he like showed me everything, how he played and everything. We used to just hang out and jam all day. We started with Metallica, and then I turned into more like a punk bass. I like mid 90s punk a lot. And then through the years, just went to concerts all the time, went to live shows, and then I met Jared in at work, and then he was like, "Hey man, you want to jam sometime? I heard you play guitar." I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then we brought Jeremy along, and then Josh, and then here we are. And by the way, I'm the one that gave Jeremy the guitar.
Yes, he is. I
Awesome.
kicked it all off.
Yeah,
Yep. And I we're doing. It's fun. Do practice every week and try to play shows as much as we can, for sure.
that's excellent. How about you, Josh? How did you find music?
Ever since I can remember, I've always been drawn to the drums from my time I was little. I remember sitting in my parents' kitchen, like banging on pots with spoons. So, my parents were always listening to music, and that's just part of everything I do every day. If I'm, no matter what I'm doing, if I can, I'll be listening to music. So, it's always been a big part of my life, whether I was, playing or not. But it's just something that I really love, and I mean that's about it. I've just always been very drawn to the drums. So I play drums, so that was my instrument of choice.
So, Josh,
Josh is playing
sorry,
all the
Chad, go
time.
ahead.
I said Josh is playing drums even when he's not realizing it. He's
Yeah,
hitting something.
yeah. It's like every
Yeah,
summer.
or you're doing the
Mhm.
air guitar, Jared, or Jeremy doing.
Uh, no.
It's not. It doesn't seem as cool as banging on pots and pans.
Well,
No.
Jared, to be fair, Jared did make one of our songs from the beat of one of the machines we were running.
Oh yeah, that's true.
If I could just expand on a little bit on that too, there's just something within music that no matter what kind of genre or what kind of style or whatever you like, that there's I think just something that kind of just awakens inside you. It just opens something up that can just give you just anything, any emotion, any kind of joy, happiness, sorrow, all of it. It's kind of become an integral part of the human experience, and that's another aspect of it too that's drawn me to it. Is I've always wanted to be able to someday make people feel the way I felt growing up listening to the bands I liked. So
Like, if someone were to go up to you and say, uh, "What type of music do you play? Would it be heavy metal? Would it be rock? Would it be jazz?" How would you describe your music to someone who's never heard it before?
Mm. Uh, Well, the first thing we normally say to that question is, then we follow that. Normally, the easiest way to put it is alt rock, because that just covers so many things. But all the genres you've mentioned and maybe a little bit more. That's nothing's off limits to us. We will make it fit if we like it. We make it fit, the best we can.
What about cover songs? How do you feel about other people's cover songs? No, really.
I'm a strict no guy on the covers,
yeah,
but
just not for us. That's all.
they're fun.
Yeah,
We play them in a room sometimes, but we're just trying to show the world our stuff. That's what we're all about.
yeah. Chad's mother does a smashing version of Zombie. So
Yeah, we do play that.
Oh, by the
Yeah.
Cranberries. Okay.
yes,
Yeah, but don't you sometimes just want to grab a bass guitar and just do Thunderstruck or Smoke on the Water or just do a riff like that?
uh,
I don't know.
Yeah, here and there. Yeah, I like to beat out a little bit of Michael Jackson here and there. No pun intended.
And which one of you would do the ow?
That'd be Josh.
that's Josh right there. Perfect Michael Jackson impersonation.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
Uh,
So we
that's
were
cool.
that's interesting. So does music give you this sort of like high? Like, does it lift you from the pit of sorrow? Does it lift you from a despair that you might have one day and just grab your guitar or grab your music and just start playing Choshek?
Yeah, I'd say yeah. I
Uh,
I know. Among many emotions, the biggest one that's normally prominent for me is whenever I finish something that I'm working on and I get to bring it to these guys. That it's for whatever reason it's a huge confidence booster to me. Even if it's accomplished nothing yet. That's just how it makes me feel. And I love that. I get so excited.
Well, we were listening to your song, The Contract, and we'd like to know, can you tell us about your creative process when writing and recording your music?
That song specifically, or
Yeah, well, okay,
in
let's start
general?
with this. We are running out of time. Digitize your heart. We are running out of time. Digitize your heart. Digitize your heartbeat. And then I can, the moonlight of your lips, and it's driving me crazy again. I feel the sunlight on your hips, and it's driving me crazy again. So tell us about your songwriting process. How does it start? How does it begin?
Take that one.
Well, yeah, go ahead. It starts with you.
Well, that particular song started with
Rap song, yeah.
Chad. Chad, we were when working together. We were in a union. He was working on a union contract while I was playing in the background. He was just reading over, various forms for the negotiation. So I called it the contract, and that's kind of where Jared took over, molding the story behind it.
Well, yeah, the process for that kind of was, I think he wrote all that.
Yeah.
Jeremy wrote all that, and then he gave us the skeleton of the song. I took it and I listened to it every day, and just on the way to work, home from work, just constantly trying to think up lyrics, and finally, stuff just started snapping in place. Actually, I think you wrote the verse though.
I did.
You wrote the verse, and I wrote all the rest of it, and it was just kind of a like you saying about the story rock aspect of it. There is a story behind the song. There is a storyline, but I also kind of want it to be ambiguous as well, so where you could apply the lyrics however you'd like, and kind of come up with your own thoughts on what they mean or what they are. A lot of the um media and content and things that I like, that's kind of how it's set up. There is a definitive meaning, and there is a definitive purpose for what is there, but I kind of want to see how other people come up and what they think and what their takes on it, and kind of give it a new aspect, maybe even.
Yeah.
So you would start a riff, and then Chad or Josh or one of you would say, okay, da, ba, 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 da. We are running out of time. That's how you would do it?
Well, that one in particular, I wrote all the music to that one, and it doesn't always work like that for all the songs, but I literally did that entire song from start to finish, uh, as far as the instruments, and I brought it to these guys, and we didn't change much. We left it, pretty much exactly how it was. No, all the other songs don't normally work like that. That one's a little different, but and like Jared said, he took it, and I wrote the couple lyrics in the chorus that you just referenced, but he did all the rest.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how people literally write music. Because I've seen the end of humanity, and it is beautiful. I've seen the end. I mean, it's an incredible song.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Uh, is there an emotional tie to it? Is it through an experience in your life that you had to bring this song to fruition?
um, I mean, I would guess that apply to every song, really, in all honesty. Kind of bringing the emotions you're feeling at the time and what you're going through in your life. Yeah, that's going to bleed through into the art for sure.
I would say specifically to that song, the the note choices that I made in that song, I had played around with for almost 8 years and never found a home for it until that song.
Wow. But
Just happened to
why?
work out there.
But why the contract? Like, why would it be called the contract? As it has to deal with someone signing a contract, like the devil or something. That you're signing a contract, you're signing your soul away.
For the exact reason that you're saying that is as we like, for my personal interpretation, we say a lot about, it's human and AI. Uh, that's kind of how I envision it, as a human and AI being in love, or but that's my take. But you interpreted that as a signing a contract with the devil, and we kind of like hearing the different takes on that.
Yeah.
Whether it's right or wrong, none of it's right or wrong.
Yeah, it's not right or wrong.
We want the listener to make the story their own.
Yeah, that's how we like it. Even though it's very ambiguous, we get that, but that's what makes it awesome.
Some stock.
Yeah, and to have your own merch, that must be really nice to know that we're a real band, because I'm not saying that you're a real band if you have merch. I'm just saying it's nice to be a band and then suddenly have merch that has the name of your band on the front.
It's a good feeling. Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
It's totally right.
Yeah.
It's and actually, kind of that's part of the passage of being a real band. Is you got to get that merch.
I'm really wanting to ask you and beg for you to answer the final Pope. Like, what's the experience about that?
That's you there.
Well, actually, that name was just I just thought that'd be a cool name for a metal band, and we used it for the name of the song instead.
Yeah, so a lot of our songs. Yeah, I know when I write a song, I might think about how the song makes me feel when I choose the name, but it's just kind of our thing to give it a random name and then let the story assign itself.
And so, what about you, Josh? How do you feel about the contract and the song "Prestigious AI"? What what kind of collaboration did you guys have, you and Chad as well, on the actual album creation? Um, did did Jared just say, "Hey, let's call it Prestigious AI," and you go, "Yeah, let's do that"? Uh huh. And Jared goes, "You sure?"
A lot of the stuff I came in at, like, how long were you guys playing before I came
Yeah,
in?
we were playing for like a year or so
Year and a half.
before.
And
We had kind of already had that song started, but like at the time, we were like, we would just talk about off the wall stuff about like we like made up some like magtronic train. Like we had all kinds of crazy ideas that would go from Pennsylvania to New York in 3 minutes.
Small stuff.
Cleveland, not New York.
Cleveland. My bad. And we are just coming up with off the wall stuff, and we're just always playing with like AI art and stuff, and it just came about. Really, we're
Yeah.
like we just love messing with like the AI on computers and stuff, and it just came. We're writing that song as it happened. We're like, prestigious AI. That's a sick name. We went with it.
Hey Josh, now that you knew, you didn't show up till at least a year after the band's formation. How long did
yeah,
it take you to learn all their songs?
it took a little while. I mean, let's say a couple months. We were getting together maybe about twice a month at that point. So it took me a couple months of listening and trying to get it, the feel, and it takes a little bit to kind of mesh together. But I think everything is meshed together really well. I feel really comfortable playing, and everything works out really well. A lot of the songs that were on the album, I think pretty much all of them were already written before I came in. So I don't have any, like, I wasn't didn't put anything into the songs besides playing the drums. And if I did, they're like, the tracks were already pretty much written. I may have just changed it just a little bit. So that's about it. As far as like the names of the songs and everything like that, I don't really put too much input into it. I'm fine with it unless it was something I really wanted to do or really didn't want to do, and there hasn't been an issue or anything like that. So
Very
You know.
interesting. Now that you're all caught up with their music, now you can just get down dirty and okay, what's next? What's the next song? Hey,
Yeah.
I want to name the next one. I have a good title for the next one.
yeah,
We would love that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He needs to be dubbed with his first one.
yeah.
hey, I know what you can call it, Josh. Blue Beard. That's what you call
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
There we
The
go.
next Choshek song is Bluebeard. Why not?
Be our next hit.
Yeah. Um.
I kind
But
of like that actually.
Yeah.
so Choshek. So what do you hope your listeners will take away from your music?
Hmm.
I just hope they feel what we feel when we're playing it together. Like it just brings. I feel like it just brings joy and like just brings your emotions high. You know.
Yeah, I would second that. I exactly what Chad said, but I would add that kind of how we touched on throughout this interview so far is we we want that intrigue. Like it's cool to hear everyone's different opinions, and that's one of the things I enjoy most is hearing how each individual interprets it. Like, or as you had asked us, what would we compare ourselves to? Genre wise, or in a like band. We get so many different answers, and that's I'm sure that the rest of the guys feel the same. I love that's one of the best things I love is hearing, the off the wall things that we sometimes get.
Yeah, I can imagine, especially people asking you, "How do you pronounce your band name?"
We
Cho.
get that a lot too. Yeah.
Yep.
It's just you guys aren't Asian. I thought you guys were Asian. And the Cho, like, what's going on here?
Well, I mean, it's the Hebrew. It's a Hebrew word. That's where the origin of the word itself is from. I believe the correct pronunciation for it is Hoshek, something like that. We just say it Choshek. It's uh, it's just one of the characters in the story. It's their name.
Yeah, not very many people know Hebrew, but I'm starting
Yeah.
to learn it. So hopefully I can
Well, there you
be
go.
able
A
to
new
use it.
way.
I'm
Well, if
learning.
you see any more cool words, pass them along.
Yeah.
I'm actually wanting to learn Greek and Hebrew because I can learn the Hebrew, learn how the Bible is written in Greek, and to read it properly
Yeah.
from
Cool.
the original Greek. So yeah. So do you balance your personal life with your music career?
I guess same way you would work in your home life. Uh, it's definitely a balance. That I know, I have two children, a son and a daughter, and I'm married. And I hope they love coming to the shows. They do. I know my son does for 100%
Mhm.
sure. My daughter, she's heading into the teenage years, so she pretends like she doesn't like it, but I know she really does.
Yeah, she's
But
going around saying, "My dad's a rock star."
yeah, yeah, but yeah, behind my back, and yeah, and then when she's, oh, you're not that good, Dad. That's just the way it is. But I've caught them singing the song "Home," and they know all the lyrics. They know all the words. They like it. So I like that. That makes me happy. It's good to get them involved, and it's good to see them get into the music as well. And
Yeah,
yeah,
like you want your own children to know your songs, especially if your son is going to be watching you play, and your daughter is going to know your songs, and whoever else here has a wife or kids know that you want your children to respect you and your music, and to tell people. So, what does your dad do for a living? Oh, he's a rock star. Yeah. What's the name of the band? And you're gonna say Choshek. What does that mean? It's Hebrew. What's the Hebrew band? No, it's go through all this. So you just gotta teach people what Choshek means, Choshek, and the type of music you play, so everyone can enjoy it. Yeah. How do you handle criticism or negative feedback about your music?
I welcome that. I want to. I'm complete. That's valuable information to me. So that lets me know how I can change things. If somebody just wants to be a hater, Uh, that's cool too. You know, you're entitled to your opinion. That's fine. That's also valuable information because somewhere in there is a nugget of truth.
Yeah.
And
So I view it as a learning experience. Really nothing more.
I would try to think of it as, you know, not everything is for everybody. Whether, it's good, they might not think it's good, they might not like it, but we're not for everybody, and that's fine because there's all type of different tastes and opinions. So that's totally fine.
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes you got to take a risk, for a reward, and our stuff being a little bit different than the normal. That's what we're doing. We're risking it being a little bit different, and we may get some criticism for it, but that's totally fine.
It's not going to prevent you. It's not going to like make you stop. Say, I'm going to stop playing because people are so rude and negative. Yeah, well, I'll tell you that Styx, Boston, Aerosmith, they all received bad
Of
and
course.
negative comments when they first started up. Did they quit?
Oh
No.
yeah.
Sure.
No.
Well, that's like he just said. If you can tell me a band that everyone in the world likes, I'd love to hear this band. That's just I don't think that exists. So, like he said, you just take the criticism and learn from it, and keep growing. You have to believe in what you do, or I don't understand why you're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. What do you think sets your music apart from others in your genre? Like, what makes Choshek so special? The people will say, you know what? You have these bands, but then you have Choshek. Boom, right there.
Chad.
Um, Zach, that's how we try to write every song. Is try to make a. We try to make every song sound different. So like, I've heard multiple people come up to us be like, "I didn't know what you guys were gonna play next. Nothing sounds the same." Thank you very much. That's exactly what we're going for. So I would say our uh, our difference in genre in every song is what puts us up puts us away from other bands for sure. Not one song sounds the same.
Yeah, that normally with music you have that traditional formula. You have your intro, verse, chorus, maybe a bridge and an outro. It's almost, you turn on the radio, that's certainly what you're gonna hear. Pretty much every song. You listen. Some of our songs may repeat a chorus here or there, um, but you don't. I don't think we have one song where the second verse is the same. Or, as you read off in the bio, I'm a big fan of linear song arrangements, which is where nothing repeats, and that's a challenge to write a song like that. But that is just so interesting to me, uh, and that's also why we call it story rock, because we're telling a story with the music, writing in that fashion.
I mean, there are heavy metal bands out there that aren't even heavy metal. Like, for instance, I thought like Quiet Riot was a heavy metal band, and basically you can't say, well, Quiet Riot is a heavy metal band, but so is ACDC. No, ACDC is a death metal band. Quiet Riot is sort of like a metal band. How about Rush? No, Rush is a heavy metal band, but then they wrote a very nice song called Tears, which is more like a Styx sort of sound to it. So I don't know, is yours a heavy metal, death metal, or just a genre on its own? You got to let people discover that themselves and gives them an imagination. Choshek is a heavy metal band. Somebody might say Choshek is just a rock band, and that's what you want. You don't want people to say, oh, they're just a heavy metal band. I don't like heavy metal. Let's listen to something else. But as soon as people say,
Right.
oh, you should listen to Choshek. Oh, they're a heavy metal band. No, they're, and then they give you all these other different types of genres. Oh, let me listen to them. You're right. 'Cause that's
Yeah.
what you
Yeah.
want, right?
Right.
It is,
Abs-
and I mean, like Chad said, I mean, he hit it right on the head there. That's kind of how we envisioned this. Is like, oh, a new song's coming out. and when you click on that link to listen to that song, you're gonna have no idea what's coming. Like you said, you know, if you click on an AC/DC song or a choir, you kind of have a good idea what that song's gonna sound like and how it's gonna play out. Might have a, you know, different structure or a little different thing, but you kind of know. Whereas we don't want that. We want a little bit of mystery. We want a little bit of excitement. We want those kind of elements to come into play. I mean, you know, you wouldn't call Home a heavy metal song. Um, I don't think any of our stuff's really that heavy of metal. I'd say it's got some hard rock, some folk, some you know, a little bit of everything. I think I was talking to someone. They said just call yourselves avant-garde because then that just covers every genre there is.
What do you think of ELO?
Oh, I love Yellow.
I like Yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're a great band.
yeah, they're incredible.
What
I
about
think they're a great
Sticks?
band.
Do you like Sticks?
That's awesome. I like some Stick songs for sure.
Yeah. So, how do you balance staying true to your artistic vision while also appealing to a wider audience?
Ooh, that's the question, isn't
Hmm.
it? That's a tough line to tell for sure.
That's the struggle.
Yep. Um, hopefully, just give it enough pop element and enough of uniqueness at the same time to do that. That's it's not easy to do. That's for sure.
Mhm.
That's what makes it fun. It's
Yeah.
that challenge.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that, Chad and Josh?
Yeah, exactly what Jared said. I mean, I've had multiple people come up to me and be like, "Why don't you guys do covers? You get more people to come and stuff." Like, I would rather play what we love playing and try to grow our fan base that way. You know,
Nice.
I don't want, oh, these guys play ACDC real good. We gotta go see them. I want them to say, oh, Choshek's coming. I love their stuff. Let's go see them, not a cover band. You know what I mean?
Yeah, play your own music.
Yeah.
But
It,
if
it's
suddenly, what if,
oh, Josh.
yes?
Oh, I just said
Hi, it's
I
Geddy Lee from Rush. Can I talk to you guys? You'd be jumping in your boots. Yes, letting him in. Come on, give him coffee. Give him his,
it,
slippers. Give him a
Oh,
pipe.
yeah.
What do you
I
need?
want to
y-
hear the stories for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a really bad impression of Geddy Lee, but he's got this. You know the way he sounds.
Yes.
What do you see as a future of the music industry, and how do you plan to adapt to it? Now, that's an interesting question because now that we have
It is.
AI in music,
Hmm,
yeah, I don't know who that is.
I don't know.
no, there
I
is
mean,
one. But so what?
it's difficult. On your question is the fact that I think Jared touched base. We were talking about last week at practice that we're not just trying to get on the radio and getting a crowd there. We're competing with everyone in the world on trying to sell their stuff on Spotify, iTunes, Bandcamp, all that stuff. So it's definitely more challenging than what it used to be. So, but we're up to the challenge. I think we uh, we try to stay real um, fluent on social media and stuff. I think we're doing what we can to be heard for sure.
With
Yeah,
that said, AI is very useful though. It's good for definitely for like cover arts. I just put up a reel on Facebook um, where for the single art I generated a photo, you know, based on some parameters of the song, and it looks great. So there's definitely a great place for AI in it. It's just when it starts replacing, you know, what humans do. Uh, yeah, what's the fun in that? What's to it is cool for a hobby, but if let's say that got out of control, you know, where's the enjoyment in that?
Well,
That's a human experience.
yeah, it's not like the 70s or 80s or when the music started in 20s and 30s where you had the actual artist, you had the microphone, and they grabbed it and they did their shamil and their shemazel and they sang their jazz and their rock in the 60s and 70s. And now you get this AI and you can have David Bowie sing The Contract, for instance.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, what are you going to do about that if someone would say, hey guys, look at this. I just took your song, The Contract, and I put Johnny Cash's voice on it. What do you think? It's pretty good. But would you still be like, but no, no.
Uh,
I mean, I'd appreciate it just like
I would too. Yeah.
there, but like all the bands that are even in our local area, we're trying to bring back music per se, like trying to get people excited to go to live concerts again, and I I don't want that to die. So I hope what we're doing can bring change to that, and hopefully everyone's just not with their heads down and listen to their headphones. You know, I'd rather them come see us live and other bands as well. That's what I grew up doing. That's what gave me the love of music for sure.
If they put David Bowie on the contract, I would appreciate that. Yeah, that's first of all, that's a compliment. Second of all, that's exposure. My name's going to be out there one way or the other, whether it's there's some modification on it or not. It's going to drive traffic to me.
uh, it is. I mean, I got mixed feelings on that. I find it. I mean, I find that kind of stuff somewhat distasteful. I mean, the man has passed. The but that it is what it is. Unfortunately, like I said, it's hard to say. I mean, we use AI art generators for some of our content and some of our stuff. I mean, it's none of us can. I mean, Josh can draw well, but not as quickly and not as efficiently as that can happen. And as long as we keep things in perspective and keep them in check, I mean, if we use it as a tool, it's good. If we allow it to run us, I think it's not. I still don't think that an AI band is going to completely replace all. It just can't have that emotion. It can't have that mistake. It can't have that element of that human element. Like I said, there's some cool things that can be done with it, and there's some harmful things. That can, just like anything, really.
Yeah. I was reading about the Bee Gees when they performed live uh, MGM Grand in Las Vegas on November 14th, 1997. They performed the greatest hits live, and many hundreds of thousands of people attended that. Would you go see an AI generated, AI holographic form of the Bee Gees one night only?
Like I said, my personal feel, I think that's some poor taste.
I probably no, I wouldn't.
Uh, I would. I do. I will say I've went and saw the Pink Floyd light show in Pittsburgh, and I thought,
Mm,
Yeah, but one day you'll be able to go and I'm going to see like Elvis live. Hundreds of thousands of people going,
yeah,
and he's
uh,
an hologram.
it
But AI,
happened.
you can say, "Hi, Elvis," you know, like
Yeah,
AI is going to. But they used to. There's also a good thing about AI is when both Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr they created that song "Now and Then," which they called the last Beatles song. So what they did is they took. Well, I mean, they started working on it when George Harrison was still alive, and they were starting when they first started to put it together. John Lennon was still alive, and they took his vocals and removed the music background, and now they have the beautiful song called "Now and Then" as the last Beatles song because every member of the Beatles was singing on it, even though it's like 20, 30 years for each person, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
that's
think
a good thing.
It can be, yeah.
I think they were trying to do something like that with Randy Rhoads. I Ozzy found a track of his, and I think they're trying to make a song out of it with his original guitar.
I mean that happened with Shannon Hoon. I mean, not with the AI aspect of it, but he had all this stuff laid down already, and they were, they went into the studio and they, I mean, by their own accounts, they said they felt very strange about doing that. So I mean, a lot of that stuff's getting into personal opinions and how you feel, and like I said, anything can be used for good or bad, and good or bad is subjective to you. So um, it's just going to evolve and change and be used in hopefully the best way possible. But sometimes we don't do that. So
I think you're asking a bigger question there because going forward the music industry that could become part of contracts. So that's kind of akin to a cover band, but as an artist you agree to say the label has some rights over your songs, any of your visual content, but now future wise, maybe what you're proposing there becomes part of the norm.
yeah,
And in that case, it was agreed to by the artist ahead of time,
right.
and that's just where the future's headed.
Well, I agree with you. I mean, I don't know if you are familiar with Aqua. Remember the song Barbie Girl?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Chad's
Um,
favorite song.
that was sung by the lead singer Lena Nygstrom. And so they put that through an AI and they got Johnny Cash singing that song.
Huh.
And
Wow.
the part where she's saying, "You can brush my hair and dress me everywhere." And when you heard Johnny Cash sing that song, then it was like, whoa, this is creepy, right?
Yeah.
But it's not the same as when Mike Shinoda. Remember when Chester Bennington and Linkin Park? Remember when they released that album Meteora, their second album? It
Yeah.
had only
Yeah,
12 songs on it, and there was one song on called "Lost," which wasn't on that album, but he released it last year. And you hear Chester Bennington sing that, like obviously that is not an AI. That was Chester Bennington himself. He's no longer with
right.
us, but he decided to release that song last year. It's not the same as like taking, Chester Bennington, making an AI and having him sing a cover song of whatever. It's not the same thing.
No,
Um,
No.
why not?
and there's probably David Bowie music out there, and I know that Prince has some albums. You could probably release another 30 albums with the music that he has locked up. It's not,
Yes.
but just using AI to clean up the vocals and everything is fine. But to literally take Johnny Cash and have him sing like Aqua Girl,
Yeah. That's where the distasteful feeling
Yeah,
yeah,
I I think so. I mean, I don't know. I guess another way to look at it too would be I think a lot of people they do music and they want to create art, any kind of artwork or anything. They're doing that to be immortalized. You're trying to put your legacy. You're trying to put your mark on the world. So in a way, if it wasn't against their wishes, it kind of could make people immortal in that way through artificial intelligence. I mean, it's all. This is a incredibly nuanced, diverse topic. I mean, there's a lot of positive and there's a lot of negative, as with most things human beings deal with.
Yeah.
Uh, it I don't know. Yeah, that if it's against somebody's wishes though, that you got to imagine that's in poor taste.
well, the original members of ABBA, they sort of did that with a light show and holograms using versions of themselves in the 70s, and people loved it.
Yeah.
But number one, because
Yeah.
they're still alive, and number two, they did
Yes.
release an album some years ago after 40 years. So I guess it's okay to do that, but to have the Michael Jackson hologram, like really?
Yeah. Yeah, and if I mean if these topics came up, they passed beforehand, you can't ask them. So that's yeah, I'm not really on board with that. I mean, he's one of the greatest singers, performers of all time. There's no doubt about that. And I get that people that
Uh,
didn't have the opportunity to see that while he was with us would clamor for the opportunity to see that. But if you can't get his permission, then I don't see that you should be doing that.
Whoever has the rights at that point,
I mean, how do you
there
have
needs
rights
to
to
be
a
a
human being though? You know?
true, but
Uh,
like if you're the kids, I'm saying like
yeah,
you know you're controlling his
estate. Yeah,
yeah, and you sign off it. That's still it begs the question. That's gonna always be your gray area as the people who pass, but that's what I'm saying. Going forward, you almost have to put that logic into
right.
anything within the music industry, or
Yeah,
not even just the music industry.
yeah, that's true. I don't know, but people want to make money, so let's say they're definitely going to come up with music from someone who has passed away years ago and say this is the newly found song by such and such. Yet really, haha, it's an AI version that we
Right.
found of his voice. You don't know, right?
yeah,
How do you
right.
know?
Y- you're not going to be able to tell here. That's the kind of scary part. Yeah.
And how do you police that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and when Paul McCartney said talked about that now and then song, people were all up in arms because he said they used AI for John Lennon, but saying you can't do that. You can't use John Lennon's voice that way. No, no, you don't understand. It's John Lennon, but we used AI to remove the piano and to clean up his vocals and stuff. That's all they did. People were all like, "You can't do that. You're Paul. Come on, think. You can't do that. You can't take John Lennon and take the AI and make a voice. You can't do what. That's not what he did.
Right.
Um,
Well,
yeah. How do you guys stay connected with your fans and build a strong fan base?
A lot of grinding on social media. There's uh, mainly Facebook. We all kind of handle a different area, but you got to keep up with it, and there is good results to that. If you stay engaged, not just with fans. It helps with uh, actual booking of shows, but most importantly, the fans. So that's the easiest way.
So who does the social media? All four of you, or do you have a specific
yeah.
one of you just do the social media?
All of us,
You know,
Do you have
whoever can check it every time.
so do you have to check with it? Everyone think, okay, I'm going to be posting one of the photos that was taken of us 3 days ago, or do you just say, hey, let's do it? Do you have a say?
Yeah,
Pretty much.
uh, depends who's doing it, but yeah.
yeah.
If I was,
There ain't nothing going up to where we gotta like clear it with each other. And if that was the case, we probably would do that. But
Yeah.
there are gonna be too many things that we probably need that we wouldn't all agree on if someone's trying to post it up there.
Yeah, definitely. Can you share with us a moment when you felt like you wanted to give up, and how did you push through it?
Mm,
Um.
mm,
as far as in this band with our music,
Yeah.
I
mm.
don't, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know personally.
Well, I haven't had that dire of a situation, but sometimes once I finish a particular song that I'm working on, uh, I'll play around with riffs looking for something to start on a new one, and that's my personal process of how I write. But sometimes if it doesn't come quickly to me, it's very deterring, and I'll just kind of ignore it. But what I've learned after going through that a couple of times is it always comes. It's you can't expect things just to happen within a week. Like one way or the other, I always find a new starting point, and we have a saying within the band. We always want our next song to be better than the last. And for me, when I write riffs, that's at least how I view it as well. And once I realized that, that's kind of how I started getting through it, is not being so down on the fact that, oh, well, I used up all my good riffs. I got nothing left.
So, Jared, there's never been a time in your life where you just wanted to walk away, like just.
I mean, yeah, I mean, there's doubts for sure. You get doubts in the back of your mind that maybe you wonder, maybe it's at a time of some negative criticism or something like that, and it plants that little seed of doubts there, and you want, am I good enough? Is this stuff any good? Is our stuff of any quality? Yeah, I think anybody would feel that no matter what level they're on or what they're doing, with anything really, and how I counter that is I just have to keep having that level of self confidence and that level of belief that it is good enough, and you do have something worth saying. You do have you do have a talent that should be shared with the world, and I think with these four, there's a really good network of support and encouragement and to keep going. I mean, I remember I saw an interview with Rick Rubin, and he talks about that and how there's just certain people. There's just certain people on this planet that have an antenna for that cosmic greatness. That these songs aren't really yours. They're out in the universe, and either you can harness that and bring those thoughts and those ideas and those melodies and those things that those people can bring those things to fruition, or and sometimes there's a shelf life on that, and I just think that just the story of how we all got together. There's what I think it's called the theory of the great magnet, and when you exude that confidence and that positivity, you'll pull those things from the universe. You'll pull them into your life, and you'll pull them all together. And I think we're the four of us are fortunate to have had that happen.
Law of attraction.
Law of attraction, yeah.
That's true. Do you guys, all four of you, go out after band practice or after you do a performance and get a drink or go to a restaurant, or do you guys just go your own separate ways? Until the next time.
Let's go around.
Sometimes.
A little bit of
Times,
both.
Yeah, a little bit of both.
We're a pretty focused bunch. We
yeah.
don't drink too often, at least when it comes to the band. After a show, that's a little different. It's time to celebrate.
Yep.
I mean, we'll get together, get some pizza, uh, stuff like that. Sometimes we go our separate ways. Sometimes we hang out. It just all depends on what's going on in our lives around us, really.
We're always talking. We have a group chat.
Yeah.
Every day, we're pretty much always talking to each other.
Jared, what if your daughter,
Yes.
your son say to you, how the son and daughter always want to ask their parents something, they both look at each other, say, you ask him. No, you ask him. Okay. Dad, can we join the band? What would
hmm
your response be?
Uh,
They're
they,
already in the
they,
band.
yeah, they can she my daughter started playing trumpet, so yeah, she could definitely play a trumpet solo in the band for sure. We could use a brass section, and any band could benefit from a horn section for sure.
Yeah. Amen.
Yep.
Yeah, because I always talk to people, and just the other day I had an artist to say that, like, you talk about the Liam and Noel Gallagher brothers from Oasis, and how they had like this kind of like friction, and they were brothers in the band, but they just didn't like each other, whatever. But then you have the Hansons, and they loved each other, and then you have a whole bunch of groups out there that literally have siblings, and I talked
Yeah,
to another artist whose father played drums in his band, and the
yeah,
daughter she's a lead singer, and she was married to the bassist. So I mean, it works. Sometimes it doesn't.
yeah. That's who's the one band Wilco. the guy from Wilco. He started a band with his son. They're really good. Like you said, it can work. It can't, and that's I would be open to it. I'd love it. That'd be great.
That's amazing, guys. How do you stay inspired and motivated during periods of creative block or burnout?
That's a tough one. See, for me, I get inspired by weird random things. I'm sure there's other people do too, but like I could hear a jingle on the radio or background music on the Kardashians. And I'll get my phone out and record it, and then later on when I'm experiencing that, I'll just search back through my ideas and be like, oh yes, I remember why I recorded that. That way, I give myself ample opportunity to help amend that situation.
And how about Chad and Josh? What are your thoughts on that?
Sometimes like if I'm getting writer's blocks or something, I'll just come down in my music room down here and just be by myself, crank the guitar, and just go for a couple hours. And sometimes I come up with something great. Sometimes it's just, well, I let out some steam and then feel better from that.
Don't you wish you were the one that wrote Thunderstruck? Because that's quite a riff, eh? Wow. Talk about high
Maybe he is.
energy. It's like, wow.
Chad, you told us you wrote Thunderstruck.
Oh,
That's the whole reason you're in the band. You did.
Oh,
yeah,
oh.
past lifetime.
That's funny. Yeah. So how do you balance the need for financial stability with the desire to pursue your passion for music?
Work 3 jobs.
That is something that comes up often.
Cryptocurrency.
Work overtime.
um, it's we just try to find that balance of what we need and what we can afford at the time.
Yep.
Uh, it's that's a great question because that is something that comes up quite often. Uh, we just all recently grabbed new gear, and that gear isn't getting any cheaper, just like everything else. So yeah, as it's a challenge. But anything that's gonna make our lives easier and us sound better and make us sound better for people that are, I mean, because it's not cheap to come out to a show either. So, drinks and food and everything else, we want it to be top notch. So, it's a little easier to justify spending that money when you know your end product is gonna be better.
Well said.
Do you guys have a Choshek bank account, business only, where you buy all the equipment and stuff for your band specifically?
We do, and then there's just to individually pool the money for certain stuff if we don't want to put it in there and take it out. Yeah,
That's not bad. That's the proper way to do it.
yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know how many other people besides you, Jared, who have children, but how do you see the role of music education in the development of young musicians and the future of the industry?
Um, I don't think that here in the States we spend quite enough on the arts.
Hmm.
I don't. That's just personal feelings. I'm not ragging on anyone or any individual decision. I just think it should be more encouraged and more money should be poured into it. Obviously, people are going to disagree with that and everything else. Like Chad said earlier, as far as the future of things, it's the double-edged sword of the internet. It's easier now. I mean, we were able to release a seven-song album all on our own with no help from anyone else to the entire world. But you're up against everything else ever created. So, whereas, like you're saying back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, you're competing with a spot to get on the radio. to get a radio slot to be heard on there. You're competing with other bands and other things. Now you're competing with every show, every podcast, every content creator, every musician. The ante has been up greatly. So um, we're just gonna keep chipping away. I made the analogy the other day that it's the four of us with hammers up against the Hoover Dam, and eventually we'll either get through it or we won't, and that's both fine. As long as we're all having fun and we're doing something that we love doing, that's good enough for me.
Wonderful. You guys are so passionate about music and just the collaborations that you have all together, that you each participate in how the group goes, the music, the genre, the lyrics. And Jared, if you have a problem with one lyric, I bet you Jeremy would probably compliment it, or Chad would come up with a line, and you'd say,
Yes.
"This is great." And Joshua will be, "Hey, what about me? I had something good too. I said the word ketchup. Can you put that in the lyrics?"
He will never do that.
He'll tell you when it's not great, though.
He'll tell you when it's not great. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. This is great, guys. I really appreciate the opportunity to interview you. Thank you, Choshek. Appreciate it. Uh, Jared, Chad, Josh, and Jeremy. See, I remember your names.
Thank
Thank you.
Awesome. Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Before we end the stream, what advice would you give to aspiring musicians who are just starting out in the industry? I asked one artist the other day, and they go, "Don't."
Yeah.
you.
Oh, jeez.
That's a little rough.
That's harsh.
I'll go first on that real quick. Just don't be afraid to take risks. It may not be popular initially, but the satisfaction personally, and if it were to be something that catches on, it's very rewarding. You don't you're never going to get the reward if you're not willing to take a risk. That's what I would say.
What
Yeah,
about you?
on that, I'd just say any instrument, any kind of sound might interest a listener, or more, or millions or thousands. Who, if you love what you're doing out there, if it's something different, I say pursue it, try it out. That's how we feel about music for sure. Be different.
If you enjoy it and have fun with it, and if it brings you, any type of happiness, you should, you know, play what you want to play and just be what, play the music you want to play and try to, do your best at it.
That's excellent. Really appreciate you, Choshik. Everyone, everything will be everything will be written down in the description of this YouTube video. The Bandcamp, their Twitter feed, Instagram, and YouTube, and all the music there, especially from well, you're not on Spotify yet.
The SoundCloud. I think that's what I
Just
searched it.
SoundCloud. Okay. So we're gonna end the stream. Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
Really
you.
appreciate.
Thank you for
Oh,
having us.
just wait right there because I got to talk to you guys. Okay, everyone.
All
We're
right.
gonna end the stream. Choshek out. See you guys.
Bye.
See ya. Thank you.